Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ika Damayanti. I will try to explain my absence. So, it was supposed to be a regular Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. The sun rose softly in the eastern sky, casting a golden hue across the city. That day marked the 9 lectures of our going semester, a session many of us had been anticipating, even more exciting. The university had organized a green buka puasa bersama or communal iftar for all students and staff, bringing together a spirit of togetherness and warmth during the holy month of Ramadan. It was expected that more than 500 people would gather under one roof sharing not just food, but stories, laughter, and the joy being a part of something bigger. I too had marked the date. I had carefully planned to attend both the class and this special evening event. After all, even like these are rare moments that create memories. However, life has its ways of tasting priorities, and on that very day, I found myself not at campus, not among my classmates or the celebration, but instead quietly sitting at home, cradling a crying baby in my arms. This is the story of that absence, not as an excuse, but as a reflection of choices, responsibility, and the quiet forms of love we sometimes underestimate. The beginning of that day, the morning started early as usual with the gently cooing of my baby boy, waking me up before down my days now often begin and with him. While I've managed to balance studies and parenting most days, the morning was different. My husband was unexpectedly called into work and none of the babysitter we usually rely and were available. Family members who could help were either away or engaged with other commitments. I looked at my calendar lecture 9 8 p.m. It read my heart drove. I knew how important this class was, especially with final assessment drawing near. And yet, at the moment, I was the only one standing between my child and his nest. He had a fever not high enough to panic, but high enough to worry. He was clingy, restless, and would not stop crying unless I was no. As much as I want to be in the class, I could not leave him alone, not like that. The inner struggle as the clock struck 7 a.m. I stood in the kitchen preparing his breakfast with one hand while holding him with the other. A wave of guilt was over me. I had always believed in responsibility and discipline when it came to academic commitments. I knew what skipping class meant. I had never want to be that student who gave reason for absence that other might not fully understand, but there I was caught between two worlds, the world of intellectual responsibility and the world of emotional duty. It wasn't just about attendance, it was about showing up for a moment that couldn't be postponed. The needs of child are immediate, raw, and honest. They don't wait for convenient timing or schedules. I messaged my group chat explaining briefly that I wouldn't be attending class. Some reply with kind words, other with concern deep inside. Though I fear what the lecture might I think will I be judged for putting my role as a parent first. Missing the iftar gathering as the day went on, my baby fevers settled slightly. I saw pictures flooding social media. The campus looked magical, decorated tents, twinkling lights, delicious food stalls, and the sounds of shared prayers before breaking the fast. Friends posed with their favorite lectures, laughter echoed through caption, and everyone looked radiant. I smiled, happy for them, but I would be lying if I said I didn't feel a pang of loss. Ramadan is a time of reflection, patience, and community, and that day I reflected deeply, not just on what I had missed, but on what I had gained in return. What I learned is that absence taught me something that no classroom ever could. It reminded me that education is not confined to four walls or a lecture slide. It lives in every moment we make difficult choices, in every act of love, in every sacrifice we embrace for the well being of someone else. It reminds me that being a student does not erase the other roles we carry in life. For me, one of these roles is that of a mother, and sometimes the most significant lessons are learned not from the textbook but from moments of unconditional care. I also learned about acceptance, the acceptance for of our limitation and the courage to communicate them with honesty and dignity. How philosophy of education helped me understand through my time in the Pendidikan Profesi Guru. I've been privileged to study the course of the philosophy education. One core value that resonated deeply with me was how education in Indonesia as a root in the values and a message to my lecturers and friends. To my lecture, if you are reading this, I hope this narrative sheds light on my absence not as an excuse, but as heartfelt account of where I was needed most today. To my friends, thank you for your understanding and support. I may have missed the photos and the laughter that evening, but I was wrapped in a different kind warm, the warmth of my child's small hands as he finally fell asleep peacefully. Moving forward, since then I've caught up on the missed materials, review the recordings, and stay connected with my study group. I don't take these opportunities for granted. I'm committed to continuing this journey with integrity, balance, and hope. There will be more classes, more gatherings, and more lectures. But the day, March 22nd, 2025 will remain special for me for a reason beyond the academic. Because that was the day I learned that what it truly means to show up, even if it is me not being physical presence. The cause of empathy in the days following March 22nd, 2025, I found myself reflecting deeply on the events that transpired, the decision to stay home and care for my ailing child, while missing a significant academic and criminal event weighed heavily on my mind. Yet, amidst the internet turmoil, I began to recognize the profound lessons embedded within that choice. Empathy, I realize, is not merely an abstract concept discussed in lectures or read about in textbook. It's a lived experience cultivated through moments of vulnerability and compassion by prioritizing my child needs. I had embodied the very essence of empathy, placing another's well-being above my own aspiration. The realization prompted me to consider how empathy could be more intentionally integrated into educational settings. As a future educators, it's imperative that we not only teach empathy but also model it through our actions and decisions. Creating classroom environment where students feel seen, heard, and valued require commitment to understanding their unique circumstances and challenges. Bridging the gap between the theory and practice, the intersection of my personal experience, So thank you and have a good day.